Namaste to everyone. We hope all of you are well, all of you are good, healthy. So, your family, friends, people around in your community and in this globe. Today, we are gonna talk about what is Samadhi. This topic is difficult, but whatever knowledge this mind has gathered through the senses, through the experience, and through the teachings of the masters, we will give our best to put up it in as simple manner we can. But if by mistake any wrong sentence or word comes out, forgive us about it. So before starting, we would like to chant a mantra for taking the blessings of the Master and the Divine Being. Divine Being and Master, they both are same. So take a deep breath in. अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानं जनः शलाकाय चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः. We bow down onto the lotus feet of our Divine Master, who is self-realized, who is God in himself, but yet very humble, very grounded, very compassionate, and every second working for the welfare of the civilization, and never identifying himself as an individual entity. We bow down to the all masters and the Divine Being. So Samadhi, see, the meaning of Samadhi is to realize one's true self, that ultimate universal consciousness within. And how does this happen? This can be achieved through the systematic practices of yoga. If we go through with the systematic practices of yoga, the self-study, we can attain the self-realization. It is absolutely possible, but it is difficult. It requires too much, very much courage. It requires so much efforts, but we can reach there, and it should be our aim if we want to live this life. Otherwise, no matter how much money we have, how much comfort we have, we won't be able to see things as they are unless we understand the self. Unless and until this mind, this individual identity dissolves into its source, unless and until every cell of this body dissolves in its source, the pure consciousness, the ultimate universal consciousness, which is within every particle of this creation, which is within everything. And humans are very, very fortunate that they are capable, this human life is capable to reach that ultimate source, unlike the other beings, unlike the other bodies. So if we have this capability, if we have this capacity, if we are gifted this capacity, it should be our responsibility to work on this path to free ourselves, this individual identity, false individual identity, this center mind, I, from the cycle of ongoing pain and pleasure, from the fear of death and birth. So to free this center mind, which is ego, which identifies itself all the time to all its faculties, to identify this center ego, this center mind, we need to go through the systematic practices of yoga. It's very easy to say that, it's very easy to understand that stay free from everything, but just understanding it into the mental level cannot free us from the ego, unless and until we have self-study, until and unless we have the experience of how we can free it from the ego, how we can free this mind from its rooted false individual identity. So experience is required. Everybody knows everything, but the one thing which we lack is experience and realization. So through this systematic yoga practices, we trained our mind, we purifies our mind, we purifies this physical body and all its organs. We bring the mind into ekagra avastha, we bring the mind into centered, into one-pointedness, and through that continuous one-pointedness, through this continuous practice and efforts to stay one-pointedness, to stay in the practice, slowly we are able to dissolve this mind into its source, to dissolve the every cell of this body in its source. What is the source? Is the pure consciousness. It's the Atma which is within. This through systematic practice and the wisdom, the knowledge from the master, or from one's own self-study, from the yoga sastras, from the yoga spiritual texts, we can reach the self-realization. And in the self-realization, what do we lose? We lose this mind, we lose this identity, the main mind, the center mind. If we query, if we look into our every single desire, what is behind that desire. It's ego, it's I. Behind every success and every loss is I. If there is no I, that loss or that success won't matter. We will see it just as the part of life. We will see all the success and losses as they are. Why we suffer? We suffer just because of this individual identity. When we get something, we become so much happy. When we lose something, we become so much happy. Still, we know that every object is subject to change. There is nothing permanent. There is nothing permanent in this universe. But because of this undisciplined mind, because of this ignorance, wrong knowledge, wrong perspective of undisciplined mind, we are continuously suffering. So, when we reach this state of Samadhi, we lose this I, we lose this center seed or center beej of this false being. And therefore, for us, everything is same. Therefore, this universal consciousness, this inner consciousness is able to connect with the things as they are. But if we have this ego, if we have this mind, the center identity, false identity, it blocks us to see things as they are. And that's the illusion, and that's the center which keeps us away from realizing our true self. When we realize the true self, when we reach the Samadhi, we know this inner consciousness, this inner being is in everything. How we can hurt anything for one's individual interest. So, reaching and losing this mind, losing this identity completely, and becoming this, letting this individual consciousness becomes universal consciousness is Samadhi. There are so many steps to explore which we can't just cover in this video, but still we have covered very much important things to understand. So if we go systematic practices of yoga, we can reach the self-realization. Self-realization is not flying in the sky. It's nothing like that. Self-realization is not about leaving the body or dying. Self-realize is just freeing this true being from this false identity which the society have created within us, which unfortunately schools have created within us. We come pure and we will go pure just because of this false education and identity. We are unable to reach the pure self. Because of this, we have made our selves separate. Somebody is given some religion, somebody is given some culture, and we are just fighting over it. We are fighting over the things which are not our, and we are forgetting that we have given this life to live, to appreciate, and to see the things as they are. But due to this mind, due to this ego, we have separated everything, and we like only what this mind is taught to like, and we don't like whatever this mind is taught we should not like. In this way, we are not able to see everything same. But in the state of the Samadhi, in the true self, this mind dissolves and we are able to see everything as they are. And this is the Samadhi. Samadhi can be attained anywhere if we go through the systematic practices of yoga. It's not that just by going into the mountains or into the caves we will attain the Samadhi. Samadhi will be attained only if we do the systematic practices of yoga. We can go to the mountains, we can go to the caves, we can stay in the home, we can stay in the room. All that matters is continuous practice and right knowledge towards this impermanent objects. So thank you so much for listening. We hope we give you something. So now we complete this session by chanting Om 3 times followed by 3 Shanti. Take a deep breath in. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Namaste.